All right, welcome to the post-game show, everybody. Altitude Sports Radio 92.5, your home for Denver Nuggets basketball. I'm your host, Dan Tanner, live here at Ball Arena, where the Nuggets' 9-game win streak comes to an end against the Los Angeles Lakers. Lots to get into here on the post-game show tonight. So, as always, feel free to leave me some comments. I'd love to get your reaction on tonight's game between the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers. So, I just wanted to start by saying, I'm sitting here looking at the box score right now. Nikola Jokic took a total of 7 shots tonight. He had 1 shot in the first quarter, and if you remember, that was with 2 seconds left to go in that first quarter of tonight's game. Credit the Lakers, man. Like, they had a really, really good game plan against this Denver Nuggets offense tonight. They were bodying, doubling, every single time Nikola Jokic was trying to touch the basketball or did touch the basketball. They were bodying, double teaming him. It was successful what they were doing tonight. MPJ and Christian Brown go 2 for 7 from 3, and the turnovers just absolutely sabotaged the Denver Nuggets tonight. It led to, open looks for the Lakers, really bad defensive effort tonight. They had 20 turnovers with 2 minutes left to go in this game. So, look, as awesome as that 9-game win streak for the Nuggets was, those were all against teams with losing records. So this is where a part of the schedule starts to stiffen up a little bit, if you will, for the Denver Nuggets. So, hey, like I said, that portion of the schedule was really good for the Nuggets as far as their ability to climb back up in the Western Conference, and credit to Denver because that's exactly what they did. I mean, entering tonight's game, they were in the 2 seed in the Western Conference, but now's where the schedule is going to get pretty tough for the Denver Nuggets. After today, they'll fly out to Indianapolis tomorrow to take on the Indiana Pacers. 4-game road trip starts coming up. It's not an easy one. You got the Pacers, then the Bucks, the Pistons, who are actually not the Detroit Pistons of last year and a couple years ago. And then you end it on Sunday, March 2nd against the Boston Celtics. So this is going to be a really interesting stretch here for the Nuggets to see truly where they're at. I think these next 4 games is going to be an excellent litmus test, if you will, of exactly where this team is at. But, when it's not like teams haven't tried this before against the Nuggets, where they are bodying Nikola Jokic every time he touches the ball. They're double teaming him. Sometimes tonight they were triple teaming him. This isn't the first time teams have tried this, okay? And typically what you see when teams try to do this to the Nuggets is these are games where Nikola Jokic has like 20 or more assists. It's one of those types of nights. The problem for Denver is the others, if you will, meaning other than Nikola Jokic, were not hitting their shots consistently enough. Michael Porter Jr., like I said, 1 of 4 from 3, 5 of 14 overall. Christian Brown, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, 3 of 7 overall. It looks like Jamal Murray was going to go for a big night. I thought he had a really good start to this game, came out super aggressive in tonight's game, and then he definitely cooled off later on in the game. I mean, he had, as far as offensive production, he was okay. I mean, he was 6 of 11 from 3. He didn't make a field goal other than a 3-pointer tonight. So the mid-range game wasn't there. The layups weren't there. He had 1 free throw. And if you remember, Luka got a technical at the end of the second quarter. Jamal actually comes out before the start of the third to take that and hits it. And the Nuggets actually started that third quarter great. They got right back into this thing. But the Lakers were just absolutely blitzing Nikola Jokic tonight with double teams and triple teams. So, like I said, this is where you need a guy like Michael Porter Jr. to consistently knock down shots if teams are going to try to do this to Denver. Now, it's 1 game. And like I said, we're going to find out on this upcoming 4-game road trip if this was just sort of a one-off or if this is a trend moving forward. And I guarantee you, coming up on Monday at Indiana, the Pacers are going to try and do the exact same thing. So this is going to be a really interesting little stretch here for the Nuggets to see if they can make adjustments to what the Lakers did to the Nuggets tonight, because you know that teams are going to be looking at this film and trying the exact same thing. Now, like I said, the good news for the Nuggets is Nikola Jokic has seen everything, okay? He has seen everything thrown his way. It's a lot like when you got a veteran NFL quarterback. Sure, there are things teams can do to slow them down from time to time, but they always figure it out. And I have no doubts that Nikola Jokic is going to be able to figure this out. Now, the problem for the Nuggets is he can't figure out his teammates making shots, making open shots on a consistent basis. So this is where you've really got to look to the others and say that they really need to step up and help their guy out. I mean, I can't remember a game in which Nikola Jokic only had 7 shots. That is wild. 7 total shots tonight. Like I said, he had 1 shot at the end of the first quarter, and that was with 2 seconds to go in that first quarter. The Lakers damn near held Nikola Jokic without a shot in that first quarter, which is just something that none of us are accustomed to seeing. And then Julian Strawther tonight had an extremely difficult night. He couldn't guard without fouling. Malone was kind of dogging him in his post-game press conference that I just got back from. He said Julian's gotta understand that teams are targeting him. Malone was very specific about that. Teams are targeting Julian Strawther. Gets 3 fouls early, has to come out, puts him back in the second half of this game. The Lakers put him in a pick and roll right when he's back on the floor, and he gets his 4th foul. So these are moments for Julian where, I thought he was excellent against Charlotte a couple nights ago, but Malone just said it. The consistency is the most difficult thing for these young guys to really try to master in the NBA. And, you got to give Julian a little bit of grace. He's still in his second year, but he's going to be an important, very important piece for the Nuggets. And when I say that, I mean like down the stretch here and into the playoffs. So he's got to figure out a way to be more consistent overall throughout the basketball game. But, we shall see. Russell Westbrook, I thought, was pretty good tonight. High energy, 17 points for Russ, 7 of 17 from the field. He was really the only bench player that did anything. In fact, Zeke Naji getting 14 minutes and 10 seconds tonight, that was a bit surprising to me in a game like this. And by the way, the atmosphere here in Ball Arena tonight, I mean, when you walked in the building, you could feel it. This was probably the first game, maybe the Boston game, but this was even more intense. I would say this is the first game at Ball Arena this season that I've been to that actually felt like a playoff game. I mean, the atmosphere in here tonight was absolutely electric. And, at the end, you get the Let's Go Lakers chants going. All the Lakers fans stayed. Nuggets fans are leaving. So I always hate to see that. But this is, going to be one of those moments for the Nuggets. Are you going to, or is the team going to overcome this, or are they going to kind of go on a downhill slide? So we'll see what happens. But Malone in his post-game press conference, as soon as that gets posted, we'll bring that to you, because he was not happy. In fact, I don't see Malone, but we do have Jamal Murray who is speaking. So let's head downstairs to the Nuggets press room and hear from Nuggets guard Jamal Murray.
It was their night. It was their night, offensively and defensively. That's what I think. Go ahead, my bad.
No, my bad. What goes into making it their night? Is it just shots falling?
Oh, it's a little bit of both. I mean, what? I mean, it's just both. Like, we were down 10 basically the whole game. And we felt like every time we made a 3, they would come down and hit one. Turnovers, I think, were the game. Not being able to pass the ball inside, whatever. Yeah, you could, sure, but giving them the ball is another story, right? So I had too many, and I think we all had just too many, and not just turnovers, but points as well. So if we take the turnovers away, I think it's a pretty close game.
Were the turnovers a result of what they were doing defensively? Or?
No, we're just bad passes, not sealing our guy, rushing it, trying to thread the needle. For a team that's playing physical, you got to make adjustments. Just be strong with the ball, meet the ball, catch the ball with two hands instead of yada yada. It was down the line that we just didn't do a good job of taking care of the ball. So I think we do that. Like I said, we put ourselves in a better position to make it a game or win the game.
It wasn't all bad. You were 6 of 11 from 3. What did you kind of find from deep in this game?
Nothing, bro. Just made a couple threes and we lost by 20.
So, first time seeing Luka and LeBron, just how did that change on the other ends, kind of schematically?
Offense.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they're great players, but like I said, Rui coming in and nailing that thing. And it's like their role players played amazing, and it's tough to guard those two guys, and then everybody else is coming in the game and playing like that, playing with confidence and shooting the ball really well. So I mean, like, yeah, two great players, tough to guard. They made some shots and plays, yeah, but like throughout the course of the game, it was to me the other guys that just kept them up by 20 or 10 or whatever it was, and that made it difficult, and we weren't able to get a stop. That was because we turned over and couldn't get a stop. So it was just like what's the word? I don't even know. I'm not even gonna try. Just a pile up of things that didn't go our way tonight, and we didn't adjust, which is another big thing. We didn't adjust or have any diversity in what we were doing. So that that was also another one.
First few minutes of the fourth down lineup when you guys were struggling to score, and they kind of pulled away. Just what wasn't working offensively during that stretch?
I don't think it's ever offense. We're gonna miss and we're gonna make. That's just the way the game goes. This is how us humans are. We're not gonna be perfect every night, but we know how to find it. We know what to do. We know what we're looking for. I think it was defensively that we just couldn't get a stop. We went zone, man. We didn't rotate quick enough. It was just like, one possession after another is a breakdown. So it was a tough game. You within striking distance all game, and you just can't close the gap because it gets frustrating. So tonight was that night, but you give them credit. They played really good, and also we've had the number for a number of years now. So they get one game. We're not going to overreact. We're just going to do what we do, make adjustments, play more physical, and bring the intensity next time. I don't think we had that. They had the physically. They went into the game knowing that we're on a 10-game win streak. They wanted to be the team that breaks the streak, yada yada, and we didn't match the intensity at home. So I give them credit. They played well.
Does that make it a little easier to stomach, knowing that the turnovers are correctable and the defensive effort communication?
Yeah, but I mean the playoffs. We can't be regretting or taking it back or just play another regular season game. That matters. So we got to handle it now. Everybody, me included.
What would you see from there in terms of the work he's put in on his 3-point shot?
Sure, it's not just his three. I mean, his three obviously maybe got a little bit better, but I think just his entire game, where he picks his spots, how aggressive he is to the rim, free throws, and still playing defense. Like he's always having an all-around game each and every game, even if he has a low point total or whatever, he's still impacting the game in such a big way for us. So, yeah, we'd love to see it.
The rotations not being quick enough has kind of been one of the more frequent problems when you guys struggle defensively. It's one thing to kind of know, I guess, that is the problem. How do you guys go about improving that consistently?
Intensity. I think it's intensity, and we got to communicate better. There's a few times where we didn't communicate, and it just led to one thing and after the other. Then it causes confusion and stuff like that. So on our part, definitely correctable for sure.
Well, Coach mentioned Julian is, kind of being hunted. Do you have a conversation with him about what he needs to do to, not be the guy that they're looking for when he's out there?
I think tonight was a rough night. I mean, you come in the game, immediately draw a foul or get a foul, a couple there's no rhythm, and you don't know how much you can touch somebody. And so I think tonight was like kind of an outlier for him where, yeah, he's going to be hunted because every rookie is hunted, to be real. So I think tonight was just an outlier night where he couldn't even be in the game, which is foul trouble, and guys just, he touched somebody, foul is like, yeah, all right, well, not your night. So that's the way a game goes. And like I said, we just got to be better better at matching their intensity. Like I said, they came to play, they came with a purpose, and we just came on the defensive, and we didn't do a good job enough.
Okay, so there is Jamal Murray after the Nuggets lost to the Los Angeles Lakers, talking about Julian Strawther there. That's something I had mentioned. Yeah, he just rough night for Julian, no doubt about it. And like I said, Malone did mention that teams are hunting Julian. So this is going to be something that the Nuggets are going to have to figure out, because come playoff time, there's no hiding these guys. Like, you can do it a little bit in the regular season, but when the playoffs roll around, or hell, even in, big regular season matchups like we saw tonight, veteran teams like the Lakers identify and perfect attacking players with defensive deficiencies. So that is an adjustment the team's going to have to make. That's something that Julian's going to have to get better at overall. And let's see how he performs against the Pacers, because like I said, they are going to need him. He will be a piece come playoff time and down the stretch here in the regular season. But he was not good tonight. There's no doubt about that. It was funny. Jamal said all rookies go through that. I mean, he's in his second year actually, but a little bit of a slip there from Jamal. Also, did want to mention, just Jamal was right. Like, for as much blame as you do want to put on the Nuggets tonight, and there was plenty to go around, their defense was absolutely horrendous tonight. The 20 turnovers isn't going to help that. When you're a team struggling as much as the Nuggets are on the defensive end of the court, without the turnovers, you really have to prioritize taking care of the basketball. And then, clearly tonight, the Nuggets just were very, very sloppy in that area. The Lakers, though, credit to them, because they had an excellent game plan coming into this game. They were fronting Nikola Jokic. They weren't allowing him to get the ball at the elbow. I mean, this was like from the jump. It seemed like it was really difficult for Nikola to even get the basketball in that area of the floor. I was really curious coming into tonight's game. I was like, oh my goodness, like, without Anthony Davis on this roster anymore, Nikola Jokic is going to eat Jackson Hayes alive. I mean, that really was my thought on this game. Like, how are the Lakers going to stop Nikola Jokic? That was my first and only thought, really, heading into this game. I was like, how are they going to stop him? They can't do it. Well, tonight they showed that they absolutely can. And, credit their coaching staff for the game plan they had coming into tonight's game, because it absolutely worked. Now, again, like I said, the good news for the Nuggets, specifically with Joker, they've seen this before. This is not like some brand new strategy that the Lakers just came up with out of thin air. Teams have done this to the Nuggets before. And these are typically the types of games where you see Nikola Jokic go for like 20 assists. The problem tonight was just his guys weren't helping him out. I mean, he still ended up with 10 assists tonight, still at a triple-double. He just wasn't effective scoring the basketball. And the Nuggets' three-point defense continues to be an issue. I mean, like I said, the turnovers did not help, absolutely. But there were half-court possessions for the Lakers where they were getting wide-open three-point attempts. And Malone was actually asked about that after the game. Is that communication? Is that strategy? Is that coaching? He said it's probably all of the above. And I will give Malone some credit in this sense. He put a lot of the blame on himself tonight. He's like, I got outcoached tonight, hands down, and I have to be better. So something Malone did tonight that I wasn't a huge fan of, Hunter Tyson gets into the game early on. I don't know why Hunter Tyson is playing over Jalen Pickett at this point. And look, I like Hunter. He's a nice dude. I think he has a chance to, have a decent career as an NBA basketball player. But the way Jalen Pickett has been playing over the last couple of weeks, I don't see how you can justify playing Hunter Tyson over Jalen Pickett, especially when the second unit needs a facilitator. I get it. The team is healthy again. Russell Westbrook is back. I want to see Jalen Pickett lead that second unit, even with Russell Westbrook in there. Let's go. I mean, so that's something tonight where I was kind of a head scratcher for me of like, wow, they're really going with Hunter Tyson over Jalen Pickett with the second unit. That was a little interesting to me. And Hunter's not a guy that's going to run that second unit. That's something I had talked about in regards to Jalen Pickett, and why I was so high on him is because of his ability to lead the second unit, to be the floor general. That's something they've been missing all year long. So that was a curious decision from Michael Malone tonight, who we're going to hear from here in just a second. But I do want to get to some of your comments here before we hear from Michael Malone. Kevin, hey DT, thanks for listening, Kev. Appreciate you, man. That game was really bad. Yes, you are correct. that was an interesting. Just the whole night was kind of quirky. Like I said, the crowd in here was electric. I mean, it was absolutely rocking in here tonight. There weren't as many Lakers fans, if I'm being honest, as I thought there would be. I mean, there was still a lot, but I would say it was maybe a quarter of the crowd here in Ball Arena tonight was Lakers fans. They were loud, but there were a lot of Nuggets fans in here tonight. So that was really good to see. Let's see here. KC Max says, I'm not optimistic of the Nuggets playoff chances. If they play like this, Russ needs to stop shooting. Yeah, that's a good point there, because Russ tonight, I kind of had this realization where, as good as he's been this year for the Nuggets, and he's been excellent, considering what like most of you and I thought or expected of Russell Westbrook when he signed with the Nuggets over the offseason. He's blown my expectations out of the water. There's no question about that. But sometimes, and I think it really showed out tonight, he still thinks of himself as like the first or second option. And he's just not. I mean, and I'm talking about when he's in there with Joker and Jamal and AG and the rest of the starters. When he's in there with the second unit, I'm okay with Russ thinking he's the first or second option, okay? But when he's in there with the starters, that is something that I really hope the coaching staff addresses with Russ. And, you know, it's a weird line to talk about, because you don't want to take away Russ's aggressiveness. That's one of his strengths. Probably his biggest strength is his aggressiveness out there and driving to the rim, getting out on the fast break. But he was shooting the ball a little bit too much tonight. He's shooting the three better than I thought he would to start the year. And if you remember earlier back on in the season, I said I had a rule for Russell Westbrook: 2 3-point attempts a game max, and they better be wide open from the corner. He shot his way out of that, out of my rule that I made for him. But I still am fearful about how consistently he can knock down outside shots. That's not what he's out there to do. Now, I get it. If he's open, take the shot. And Malone preaches that to his guys. But the Nuggets have so many good shooters on this team that Russell Westbrook should not have to take as many outside jump shots as he took 7 3-point attempts tonight. That's just too many. Now, credit to him. He hit 3 of them. I mean, 3 for 7 isn't terrible. But my point is, I don't want Russell Westbrook to view himself in the offense as like that first option to shoot the basketball, specifically outside. If he's not trying to run into the lane and, you know, confuse the defense with that, man, it's just tough seeing him be one of the primary shooters on the team. So I definitely would like to see that change, if you will. Let's see here. What else do we got? Maddie's goofball. Some days you were the dog. Some days you were the fire hydrant. That's a good one. Yes. Tonight the Lakers were the dog and the Nuggets were the fire hydrant. I really like that reference. Appreciate that very, very much. Let's see here. I'm laughing at these comments here. Let's see here. One more from our guy, Maddie. They got punked tonight. You were right, in their own gym. I shoveled a buttload of snow yesterday. That won't be happening when it's parade time. The Lake Show got a solid in Luka. The whole dynamic of the league changed. Strap it up. That's a good point. My guy, Matty B there. Appreciate you weighing in. You know, I was very, very curious to see how the Lakers look. No Anthony Davis. Insert Luka Doncic. They looked better than I thought they would, especially this early on. I thought it would take a little bit of time. And quite honestly, the first couple of games, Luka didn't look that great with LeBron in LA. I mean, he was averaging like just over 14 points a game. But tonight was probably the night that Lakers fans will look back on and say this was the game where Luka really sort of announced himself with the Los Angeles Lakers. He was obviously excellent tonight. I mean, the whole Lakers starters, other than Jackson Hayes, who really does a whole lot of nothing out there, if you're asking me. The rest of the starters were great. I mean, Luka had 32 points. Austin Reeves was phenomenal, 23 points. LeBron James, my goodness. I was talking to D-Mac about this before Malone came in to do his press conference. Has there ever been a 40-year-old freak athlete like LeBron? Like an athlete that is still an absolute freak of nature at 40 years old. There have been NFL quarterbacks like Tom Brady, and Peyton was close to 40 while he was still going strong. And there's a handful of others, Brett Favre. I'm sure I'm missing a couple. But I can't remember in my lifetime, or even before then, of an athlete that was 40 years old or older that was still like a just physical freak out there. I mean, credit to LeBron, because that is unbelievable what that guy is still able to do. I'm talking just like physical gifts that he still has, that 99.999% of all other NBA players that have been fortunate enough to play as late as LeBron has, he still looks like one of the top 10 athletes in the NBA. I mean, it is unbelievably impressive. I can't think of an athlete in the NBA or any other sport where a 40-year-old athlete has still been as dominant as LeBron is right now. We were talking about like maybe Gordie Howe when he was 40. I honestly don't really remember if he was like that good still in the NHL. Jaromir Jagr was thrown out there, but was he like still one of the top 10 players in the game? Like, that's kind of my point. So who knows? Maybe Nikola Jokic will still be dominating, hopefully, knocking on wood here, Connor's hockey booth at 40 years old, if he even plays that late. I hope he does, but we'll see. So yeah, that was just sort of something D-Mac and I were kicking around there in the press room of like just how impressive it is to see a guy his age still be that physically gifted. All right, before we get out of here, let's go ahead and hear from Nuggets head coach Mike Malone after the game.
39 points that they scored. We only scored 11. That's a huge disparity there, and I think that speaks to the bigger problem. I felt that they were just a lot more physical, a lot more aggressive than we were. They had 15 steals. They had 33 points in transition. We only had 9. So from beginning to end, their activity, their physicality, never allowed us to get into a rhythm all night long.
Seemed like Nikola had trouble getting the ball on some of the possessions with confronting and fighting over the top. Is that just part of the issue with the turnovers, not necessarily being able to get into the main portion of your offense?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and again, it speaks to their aggression, their physicality, and our inability to handle it. And that ultimately falls on me, to get a team ready to play. And so we were outplayed tonight. We were outcoached tonight. And for Nikola to only get 7 shots, that should never be the case. Give them credit. They cross-matched. They doubled them every time. They fronted them on the elbows. They wouldn't let him catch the ball. What's the best way to stop a player? Don't let him touch it. And they did a hell of a job of that tonight.
Coach, it was 18-6 turnovers before you pulled the starters again.
This is good.
More on them or on you?
Malone is pissy.
And what? I'm sorry?
The turnovers, uncharacteristic at all, 18 and 6.
You can put them all on me if you want. Yeah, I'll take them.
Well, I guess was it their defense or was it stuff you guys were just not effective in your execution?
I really don't understand the question, but as I mentioned earlier, they had 15 steals. We had 22 turnovers. I did a bad job preparing our team. So hopefully that answers that question.
Michael, you've been talking a lot about how difficult this final stretch is going to be. Is this kind of a wake-up call, especially after winning 9 in a row, to let your team know you can't just cakewalk through these?
I hope so. We'll find out. Come Indiana. Obviously we're going on the road tomorrow. Very challenging 4-game road trip. At Indy, at Milwaukee, at Detroit, at Boston. No one's gonna, be scared that the Denver Nuggets are coming to town. So
wow,
we have to play a lot better than we did tonight. and we got away with it against Charlotte, but against a quality of opponent that we played, and obviously LeBron, Luka, Reeves, those guys all had great nights. So yes, we have to understand that we cannot just rely upon our offense. We average 128 points a game on a 9-game win streak. Tonight we had 100. So when we're not scoring, we're not making shots, what are we going to do? That's when you have to rely upon your defense. And we just a rough night all around for us. But we'll watch some film, we'll regroup, and hopefully we'll be better come our next game.
Strawberry comes in and gets 3 pretty immediate fouls. How does that impact kind of your rotations? And then what do you kind of hope that you can learn from that lack of minutes, I guess?
Don't foul. I mean, then I put him back out there. You got no teams are targeting him. I mean, let's just be honest. Julian's out there. They're targeting him. They went back out there 3 fouls. They put him in a pick and roll. He got his 4th foul right away. So he just got to be a little bit more disciplined. Show his hands, slide his feet, use his chest. And these are all learning experiences for a young player. Who's, as I keep on saying about Julian, the greatest challenge for any young player is consistency. And Julian Strawley was not the only guy. We as a team, from starting with me all the way down, had a very rough night.
How does when teams guard you guys like that, it feels like Aaron's 3-point shot is important. I guess how encouraging is it just kind of see the continuation of the growth in that department? How real do you think it is for the rest of the season?
Well, yeah, I think it's real because we're end of February. And I mean, since beginning of the season till now, AG has shot the ball really well from the 3-point line. So him to get 24 points, 4 of 7 from 3, 9 of 15 from the field, obviously that was good to see. But when you get your butt kicked at home by that team, there's no silver linings. Aaron, everybody else, we have to find a way to be just better with the ball, better with our defense, better with our communication, and just didn't have that tonight.
Luka's a nightmare passing over the top of your face covers, playing Jokic level of the screen. You guys seemed like you would figure out the paint, and then they would get open 3 corner threes, and then you would guard the corner. What's the biggest thing that you guys have to kind of work on? Is it communication? Is it timing? What are the things you got to do to tighten up on those?
I would say when you speak about any defensive lapses, I'd probably say a little bit of everything. The communication is always critical to being able to execute any game plan that you may have employed. And behind the communication is the effort, the multiple effort. Sometimes, we can be a single effort team, but when you're playing against a guy like Luka and LeBron and their passing ability, to your point, to throw bullets from the right wing all the way to a dart to the left corner, that requires tremendous effort. When they went small, obviously, and we were still big, that created some problems as well. Thought the zone was effective, but it was just too little too late. So once again, give the Lakers a ton of credit for coming in here and getting the job done, and we just got to bounce back.
All right, there he is, Nuggets head coach Michael Malone after their 123-100 loss to the LA Lakers. Yeah, you said it there. When you get your ass kicked, there's no silver lining. I mean, I get what coach is saying there. The silver lining for me tonight was he sort of touched on it there. Aaron Gordon, I thought, was phenomenal tonight, and that was really good to see because not only did he play well, he looked healthy. So that was really good to see. That's obviously it has been a concern and is going to be a concern for the rest of the season with that calf injury he's been dealing with all year. But that was the healthiest Aaron Gordon has looked all season. So that was, for me at least, the silver lining tonight. But another interesting thing I took away from that was Malone talking about the upcoming road trip. He's like, nobody's scared to face the Denver Nuggets. Wow. You've got to think these are just kind of Herb Brooks mind games that Malone is trying to play with his team right now, because that's a hell of a statement right there. Your team's about to embark on a 4-game road trip and you say nobody's scared to play us? Like, whoa. Okay, coach. I don't think he actually believes that. I do think this is something where he's trying to send a message to his guys. Like, at least that's what I took away from it. I mean, you can tell me if you think differently, but man, that stood out to me. I mean, that's a big time statement right there for a head coach to say. A team that just came off a 9-game win streak also. Now, granted, like I mentioned earlier, any 9-game winning streak in the NBA is impressive. Okay, we'll just start there. But that 9-game winning streak was against all teams under 500, or non-playoff teams, I should say, at least for right now. So again, this upcoming road trip is going to say, it's going to show us a lot about who this team is this year, where their heads are at, the ability to have a bad game and just sort of flush it down the drain and move on. That's going to be a really, really big sign of who this 2025 Denver Nuggets basketball team is. This upcoming 4-game road trip, I really do believe will say a lot about this team. So, we'll see. We'll see what they do, and we'll see what this team is made of. They've got Indy on Monday. These are all road games. In Milwaukee on Thursday, back-to-back, second night in Detroit on Friday, and then they'll end the road trip with a really tough game in Boston on Sunday, March 2nd. That's actually an 11 a.m. game, so I love that. We'll get an early in the paint post-game show coming up on Sunday, March 2nd, but credit to the Lakers tonight, man. Like, they were excellent. And I got to tell you, the LeBron and Luka thing looks like it's going to work. I know it's still really early, but those two dudes are, you just heard Malone say it, like their passing ability between the two of them is phenomenal. And that's why I think so many Nuggets fans would get so excited about the prospects of a Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic pairing here in Denver, because imagine the passing ability. The Nuggets are already the best passing team in the NBA right now. They lead the league in assists. But with Luka Doncic, that would be something special. And you kind of got a little taste of that here tonight with LeBron James, who is obviously an excellent passer as well. But we'll see where they go. Like I said, this is a big test coming up for the Nuggets. 4-game road trip. Then they've got 2 at home, and then they're back out on the road for a back-to-back in Oklahoma City. So the schedule only gets harder from here for the Denver Nuggets. So we'll see where they're at. But, they're still in a good spot, like standings-wise. I mean, they're right there. They're not going to catch the Oklahoma City Thunder. They do fall a half game back of Memphis. They're currently in the 3 seed. And then look out, right on their heels at 34-21 is the Los Angeles Lakers, just 2 games back of the Denver Nuggets. So it's going to be a really, really fun, last month and a half or so of the season. But that's going to do it for the post-game show tonight, everybody. Really appreciate you listening. Again, the Nuggets lose 123-100 against the LA Lakers live here at Ball Arena. And we'll see what the Nuggets can do coming up on Monday in Indiana. That's going to do it, everybody. Have a great night and get home safe.